Hello, everyone. Hope you can hear me. So today is a slightly an unusual session. I'm going to answer your questions. So it's a Q&A today. So just wait a minute while everybody gathers. Oh, wow, 45 of you. That's wow. That's a lot. Okay, just give me a moment. Okay, so it's webinar 5. So it's the 11th of October. Perfect. I'm going to share my screen. And let's get to it. The chat, of course. So the question, for a large portion of the maths assignment, I used a calculator to simplify large expressions. Is this okay? Does COMPOS expect me to do it all non-calculator? Oh, that's a good question. Like, portion. So, for example, what's it called? Just a second. Okay, so let's say you have this expression. Okay, that doesn't work. Okay. Suppose you have 42 x to the power 4 minus 209 x to the power 3 plus 211 x squared plus 121 x minus 21 x squared. Sorry, x squared plus 121 x minus 21. You can use a calculator and obtain that this is in fact x minus 3. I mean, it is possible to do with a calculator, 3x minus 7. And then 7x minus 1 and 2x minus 1. This is not acceptable to do on a calculator. So this is not acceptable. Acceptable to do without, to do with calculator. You have to show you're working. You have to show how to show working out. But if you're doing the other way around, that, yeah, I don't see a problem with that. Like something that involves basic multiplication, like factorizing an expression is very difficult. So that's not acceptable to do it with a calculator. But opening brackets, that's perfectly fine. Okay. And to check yourself with a calculator that you have done. But I use a calculator to simplify large expressions. Do you mean calculations like 43 plus, if they're just numbers and
I meant for large fractional expressions.
Oh, large fractional expressions, then yes, yeah, it's fine.
Okay, thank you.
It's fine. If you, I was thinking algebra. Yeah. But even the other way around, well, you wouldn't really use a calculator to expand brackets, because why would you? So factorizing an expression using a calculator is not acceptable. Let's put it this way. Okay, so what was next? Okay. Could you give us a rundown on physics question 13? I have done this multiple times in previous webinars. So please go to physics webinars, where to find them. So you go to COMPOS website, you go to the COMPOS website, to webinars, all year 12 webinars, and vectors in physics. So go for it. There, I have discussed question 13 multiple times. I don't really, oh, should I just copy the question? Would that make sense? And the answer, and this is the answer. Okay, next question. I don't really get question 5 on the physics assignment. Okay. I don't really get question 5 on the physics assignment. Let's have a look. And so, oh, assignments. Again, I've done this in previous webinars, so I'll just refer you to the same webinar. So both questions, you'll find the solution in the webinar. Okay. And what does do not use calculus in the last question on the physics assignment mean? Well, any minimization question can be solved using calculus. They do not use calculus refers to that using calculus would be incredibly difficult and we don't expect you to do it. It means that you can do it without calculus. If you do want to use calculus, yeah, you can write, Vlad gave his permission to use calculus, and you can, and if you can prove it with calculus, oh, I don't see a problem. Why not? But you can do it without calculus, and it's much easier without. Okay, so you're not expected to use calculus, but I wouldn't say you can't use it. Okay. Like, look, why any minimization or maximization problem, for example, using calculus to find minimum or maximum. Example. Oh, I like the example with economics. So Q is the quantity of goods of I don't know if you're selling, what do you know? I don't know. What are you selling? You're selling hot dogs. That you sell. And P is the price. So we can write that the quantity, the number of hot dogs that you sell is 200 minus 2p. I mean, maybe not the best example, but anyways. So what does that mean? So if the price is 0, how many will you sell? If the price is 0, you will sell 200 hot dogs. If price is, I don't know, 10, you will sell 180, and etc. If there is a price, if the price is £100 per hot dog, the quantity that you will sell is 0. Nobody will buy a single hot dog. Probably not a realistic one, but anyways. So the amount of money that your earnings, so your revenue is the quantity you sell times the price, right? So the quantity is 200 minus 2p times p, which is 200p minus 2p squared. And you see, this is a quadratic. And you want to find the maximum. What is the max? What is the price when revenue is maximum? When the revenue is maximum. So post this. And you can use the properties of a quadratic, because the quadratic basically you can find the maximum of a quadratic. This is a parabola, and a parabola has a vertex. So first find vertex of parabola. But the second method is use calculus. So to use calculus, you need you differentiate the revenue by price, and you get 200 minus 4p, which equals equal to 0. So p is 50. So the optimal price is 50. So if you sell your hot dogs at £50 each, you get maximum profit. So revenue, not maximum profit, revenue. Revenue is maximum if the price is 50. And you can confirm that, because if you draw the graph of your revenue, R equals 200p, so you go to Desmos. I do recommend you use Desmos, not for solutions. You can't base your solution on Desmos, but you can use Desmos. So your revenue is equal to 200p minus, what was it? 20 2p squared. 2p squared. Okay, it doesn't like. Oh no, it's fine. It does. It did something. All right. So if your price is 100, you will sell 0. If your price is 0, you will earn 0 revenue. But there's a maximum point, and if you sell 50, your revenue is maximum, which is 5,000. So does make sense? Okay. So yeah, it is a maximum. It is a maximum point. So in any optimization problem, you can use calculus. Yes, we just ask you not to use it. For question 9, can I use v dt to find the speed, or do I need to use vectors? For question 9. Let's see. For question 9, can I use vectors? So what is question 9? Well, you can use v equals dt for the straight sections, of course. Yeah, I mean, I don't see a problem. For straight sections, of course, you use yes for the straight sections. So yes, for straight sections, you can. Okay. I wonder if this is okay. 18 messages. Okay, I'll go quicker. I don't think I have enough time to do to post all the questions. I'll post the the questions I think are the most valuable. For problem 8 in the physics, what is the symbol between vec A and vec B? I've looked everywhere and I don't know what it is. For problem 8, perpendicular. That is the symbol for perpendicular. I meant for large fractional expressions, okay, where you know the numbers. Quadratics 8. As I understand it, please, the using Vieta's formula purely algebraically with simultaneous equation would naturally give us another quadratic. And so since it's essentially the same. Okay, so in question 8 for maths, it says solve it in your head. Solve it in your head. So it literally means this. So that's a good question. So what I would like you to do is say, let's say you have x squared plus 14x plus 40 equals 0. You write x1, x2 is equal to 40. x1 plus x2 is equal to minus 14. So x1 is equal to x2 is equal to, so minus 4 minus 10. This is what I would like you to do for question 8. Does that make sense? Hopefully. Okay. Sujal, can we use the factor theorem to check if a number is a factor of a number or not? Yes, of course. You mean if a binomial is a factor of a polynomial? Is that, I hope that's what you meant. How can a quadratic equation have more distinct roots? It's not a typo. A quadratic equation cannot have more than two distinct roots. So if an equation has more than two roots, it's not a quadratic. For question 12, on the physics assignment, I proved that the rope took out the form of a catenary curve by minimizing potential energy. Okay. Wow, that sounds complicated. So, well, if you found the ratio correctly, I don't see a problem. Why not? Yeah, I mean, if you found it correctly, if you got the correct ratio, then yes. I mean, if the answer that you got is nonsense, then probably not. You would probably get some marks for method marks. I asked for some guidance on a few questions. Should I indicate this on the page of the question? As long as somebody else didn't solve it for you, we're okay with that. Okay, so the only thing that we don't allow is somebody else doing the problem for you or showing you how to do it. But hints, getting hints from somebody, that's fine. Okay, question 11 in physics. I don't really understand what it is asking. Question 11 in physics. Well, okay, so let's do a simple question, similar to problem 11. For problem 11. Problem 11. Let's say I have loops and I hang from the loops. This is me, Vlad. And I'm holding on two ropes. So if you draw a force diagram, there are three forces. So there's the mg pulling me down, and there's two tensions, T1 and T2. And we need to find both tensions in terms of mg. Well, if we can assume if they're the same, they are not the same in your question 11. But if they are the same, we can say that T1 plus T2 is equal to mg, right? Because the upwards forces have to equal to the downwards forces if the object is stationary. And if they are equal, then we have T1 plus T1 equals mg. Then we have T1, 2T1 equals to mg. So T1 is equal to 1/2 mg, and T2 is also a half mg. So this is what I mean when to find the tension in terms of mg. Does that make sense, Abiola? Can you reply to your previous message? Because I don't see what's down there. I don't really get physics question 10 and 11. Question 10, I've done this question in the previous webinars. So go to the previous webinars and have a look. I've done similar questions, of course, not the same question, but it's very similar. Question 11, so physics question 10. So same thing, go to the webinars. You will need to use to find the angle between vectors. Angle between vectors. So angle between vectors. So cosine theta is equal to the dot product of the vectors divided by the product of the lengths of the two vectors. You will need to use that for this question, for question 10, or problem 10. Okay, what is calculus? Calculus is the study of infinitely small numbers. I know that doesn't really help, but calculus, yeah, calculus I don't know how to put it in simpler words. Oh, okay. In what do they call in terms? Okay, in very easy terms, calculus is differentiation and integration. Okay, this is calculus. I would say calculus is the study of infinitely small numbers, in a way. But okay. Abiola, I meant 12. 12. 12 and 12. Try cutting the rope into 2 parts. Okay, for question 13, what is it initially? There's a couple of questions with it asking in the terms of drift with respect to the straight path. Okay, so in question 13, you have a river. Question 13. You have a river, and there's a strong current. There's a strong current in the river, which is quite fast. So fast. The boat doesn't have enough speed to fight the current, because even if the boat goes at full speed, travels this way, it will end up traveling that way, because the current is faster than the boat. Because let's say the current is 10, the speed is 8. That means even if you go full speed to the left, you will end up drifting with speed 2 to the right. If you travel straight up, it will take you the least time. If you point your boat in this direction, it will take you the least time, but you will end up drifting all the way here. You will end up at very far from where you started. So this is your start, this is your finish. The task is to find a direction in which you need to point the boat such that the speed of the boat plus the speed of the current will bring you somewhere to point be optimal. Be optimal. You need to be closest to point A1. Right? So depending on how you direct your boat, you will end up in different points. You will end up to the right of A1, but you need to end up, you need to end up as close to A1 as possible. Now, there's a very elegant solution for that. And I have discussed it multiple times in previous webinars. Okay. It is similar to question 7, but yeah, in question 7, the boat is faster, so you can make it so that you just travel in a straight line. So in question 7, you can travel in a straight line. In question 13, you can travel in a straight line, but you can't travel perpendicular to the shore. But the solution is somewhat similar. What is the pass mark for physics and math? We don't know the short answer. Last year it was 50% average and a minimum of 40% for each subject. So we don't know. We don't know. Last year it was 50% average and 40% minimum for each subject. And the year before it was the same. Last year and the year before. And the year before. before. Okay. Next, in problem 2 of the physics side, do we need to give a direction in the form theta degree north, or just give it the angle? You have to, you can give it in any way you like, as long as it is clear what you mean. It is 20 degrees to the horizontal. It is 7 degrees to the vertical. It is bearing 293. So as long as it is clear what you're saying, it's fine. Also, I had another question related to this. If we get selected to the program, what sort of commitment is expected? We're expected to do 5 hours a week of self-study plus the tutorial. Okay. So, well, we say 4 to 5 hours a week plus the tutorial. So, yeah. Some students tend to spend more time, and that's great if you can. We don't want to overstretch you, because I know you have commitments in school. So 4 to 5 hours per week plus tutorial and plus webinar, which is optional. Of course. Webinar is what we're doing right now. Could you give tips on how to do number 10 physics? Number 10 physics. I've discussed this. Yeah, it was in the previous webinars. See previous webinars. I've answered question 11 for physics, but I don't really understand question 2 that follows it. I've already said, try cutting the rope. Could you give a starting point for question 11, please? Or draw the forces. Draw the free body force diagram. So I've done this for me. Yeah, so very similar to that, except the forces won't be vertical. To study pure maths at top universities, is physics necessary? Does it boost chances of segment compared to the other subject? Taking math, further math, Spanish, and French, is dropping French or physics recommended so that the questions are related to the assignment? That's a good question. Look, if you're doing pure maths, and you are certain that you can get a top grade in maths and further maths, then it doesn't matter. Like, look, if you did maths, further maths, and physics, and you did A star, A star, A star, you probably get a slightly better chance than a student that did maths, further maths, and Spanish, right? But if doing physics means that there is a chance you won't get an A star in further maths, for example, yeah, so like if there is a chance that doing physics will take your focus off maths, then it will probably lower your chance of getting in. But if you're confident with solid with maths and further maths, then you can do it. But yeah, I think maths and further maths are more important for you. For question 12, do we determine the distributions of the tensions of the masses by physical laws using vectors to prove the foundation of this? For question 10, you don't need calculus for question 12. You just draw a vector diagram. Just draw a force diagram. And yes, and I've given another hint before. How do I access the whiteboard? Okay, thank you. Yes, it is the correct link. Aren't x1 plus that would be embarrassing. No, because if you do +4, if you do +4, so 4 squared plus 14 times 4 plus 40, without even calculating, I will tell you that's not 0 because these are positive numbers. You can't, if your coefficients are positive, there's no chance that your answer is positive. So if your coefficients are positive, your answer has to be negative. And the same for -10, it doesn't work. So it is minus. So Vieta's formulae are this: x1, x2 is c over a, and x1 plus x2 is minus b over a. I know it's confusing. It's you're taught in a different way in school. I'm sorry for that. I mean, well, I'm not really sorry for that. It's just I'm showing you a slightly different way of doing it. You can use whichever way you choose, whichever way you like, except in the questions where I ask you to use Vieta's formula. Because in school, they teach you to factorize like this. Look, they say x squared plus bx plus c. They tell you that it is x plus p, x plus q, right? But we say that x squared plus bx plus c is equal to x minus x1, x minus x2. Why is this more valuable? Because P and Q, well, what is P and Q? Are they just numbers? Do they have a meaning? Well, they do have a meaning. P is minus x1 and Q is minus x2. Why would you introduce P and Q here just to make them negative and finding the roots by that, when you can say straight away, look, when we factorize it like this, and x1 and x2 are the roots of the equation. So this is a more straightforward approach, but I know it gets confusing because this is the way you're taught in school, and this is the way I'm showing you with Vieta's formulae. So what they did in school, they took this, and they decided to simplify it. They decided to make it simpler for you. So they're teaching you this without you really understanding what P and Q is, without necessarily explaining what P and Q is. But P and Q have a very important meaning. There's like of the utmost importance. They are the roots of the equation. Well, they're the negative roots of the equation. So we say take the roots take it with a minus, and then x1 and x2 are the roots. Okay, so I hope I haven't confused you. In school, you do this. And this is why we have the confusion with the minus and the plus, because in school you're taught that P times Q is C and P plus Q is B. We teach you that x1, x2 is C, but x1 plus x2 is minus B. And this is the key difference here. And this is the source of confusion. If you find it confusing, I say stick to what you're taught in school. If you are not finding it confusing, then use whichever method you like best. Okay. Yeah. Yes, for large polynomials at the start of the question, yeah, like for large polynomials, these are the roots, and that you kind of Yes. How is question 15 not a quadratic for x? Yes, this is this is asking too much, Paris. Sorry. I have went through this problem because if I tell you, it gets super easy. It's an easy question if you understand. Just ask yourself, if it's not what you think it is, what could it be? Right? What are the options? Just go through every possibility that you can think of. Can you use moments for question 12? You can, but you don't need to. You can use moments for question 12. You can, but you don't need to. It is okay if our answers are wrong, but we should, like a whole page of working towards it. That's fine. If the approach is valid, like the tutors will be marking how much progress you have made, how many correct ideas you have. So all sorts of things. I'd say the correct answer is the least important bit. Because if you have just the answer without any explanation, you'd probably get a 0. Yeah, I should have mentioned that. That's important. You have to show your work. Does the answer matter? Well, for some questions like simple quadratic equations, I mean, we will accept answers. But if you have a huge equation and then you suddenly write down the correct answer without explaining how you got there, that's not acceptable. Especially because with technology you can do magic things, right? So if I ask you to solve this equation from the beginning, if n equal to 0, well, my calculator can do that. I have this calculator which I bought for £9.50, and it can do that, right? So that's not writing the answer is not acceptable here, right? You have to show how you do it. Okay. I say, well, obviously show your answer, show what you got, and even if it's wrong, you still get marks, even if the answer is wrong. If the idea is correct, if the method is correct. For question 2a in math, it says to prove the vertex. Oh, that would be embarrassing if we made a mistake like this. Let's have a look. For question 2a, the vertex is b over 2a minus b squared over 4a plus c. But at the bottom of the page, it says that it's I think this is wrong. Yes, yes, it is. This is a mistake. Okay. Let me just amend that really quickly. Wow, we've carried this error for a long time. So quadratics. Okay, yes, thank you. Sorry about that. It is, I will re-upload this. This is a mistake, so there's no square here. Okay. Sir, if I'm not sure if you can answer a question like this, but I use the following method when answering questions. Intuitively, you'd think that the tension from point A would act on the half of the rope on their side, whereas I think cutting a rope is the lowest point. You're missing so Neil, you're missing a key ingredient. Like intuitively, yes, but why? You need a force diagram which you can prove, right? Because you can look for problem 12 for problem 12. I'm sitting on a chair. I'm currently sitting on a chair. So this is a chair. And this is me. You can say that this is me and the chair. Me plus chair. And there's the weight, mg, my mass plus the chair. And there's a normal reaction from the floor. You can do that. But you can split. You can split this into two objects. You can do just me, and just the chair. So if you do just me, that would be my weight. So this m1g, and the normal reaction force, normal reaction from the chair on my body. So for the chair, that's going to be the normal reaction of me sitting on the chair. There will be the weight of the chair, m2g. There's the normal reaction from the floor, which is n2. Yeah, and that's it. So whenever you have a complicated object, so you can take any part of the object and draw the forces on it separately, right? So you have a me plus the chair. You can draw just me. You can do both, or you can do them separately. So that's what I'm asking you to do. So this is for question 11, problem 12. Can we have access to previous year's whiteboards? Oh. I don't know. I need to think about that. Let me see. Yeah, I don't see a problem with that. So. And we have access. Okay. Various whiteboards. Okay. Could you explain how to do a problem with similar to question 8? Because you have to show the perpendicular. 8. That they're perpendicular. I've done this in previous assignments. So question 8, I have done in previous webinars in last year. For question 13, what is it initially as a couple of questions with it, exactly asking for it in terms of drift with respect to straight line path? Okay, I think I've done this. I've went through this question. Most of the questions that are in assignments are things that I have never encountered in school. It's supposed to be like this. If I do get in, will I have knowledge about degree physics and maths? Which part of physics or maths are you referring to? Because you do vectors in school. You certainly do quadratics in school. We do school stuff. It's just slightly more difficult. I can't see how this is degree physics or maths. We don't, and well, in year 13 we will do Taylor series, and we will do even though Taylor series is in the further maths program. So in year 12 we don't do anything outside the maths and further maths programs and physics programs. Okay, so we just do it harder. Okay. For question 13, why does not overcoming the river speed matter in the question, as you could be using a speed to drift you back or not? For question 13, there's no way you can drive your boat perpendicular to the shore. Okay, because the current is too strong. No matter which direction you choose, you will be drifting. So in question 7, I think you can point your boat so in such a way that your boat goes directly perpendicular. So it just crosses the river perpendicular. But so if you want to go from point A to point B, you can do that in question 7. But if the current is faster than the boat, then there's no way you can travel from A to B, from A to A1. Sorry, you will travel like this. You will get off course. When can we roughly expect to get our marks back? We think that we can do it by the 1st of November. You will get some sort of mark script, but because we have a very large number of papers, it might be just marks without comments. What is the tutorial? So if you are successful in obtaining a place at COMPOS, you will have a tutor, and you will have 90-minute tutorials every week, in addition to the webinars. So there will be a webinar with me, a tutorial with your tutor in small groups. So you will have a group of 8 students. So you can talk directly to a tutor, and they will be guiding you throughout the year. For problem 13 in maths, how can A have values plural? I can only find one from the discriminant. For problem 13, which values of A does the equation have exactly one root? Let me have a look. Yeah, there's more than one. Two. Okay. Yeah. Problem 6 for physics. Problem 6 for physics. Same thing. I have done this in the previous webinars. How do you find a quadratic for equation which have more than two real roots? Do you solve it whatever the values it gives? Thank you, Neil. Yes. Yes, exactly. So it is yeah. So as I said, a quadratic can only have two roots. So if it has more than two roots, then it is. You continue the sentence. What a tutorial would be as opposed to a webinar. So tutorial, as I said, small group, 8 students and a tutor. And the tutor will be, usually it's an Oxford student, or Imperial student, or Bath student of physics. And you will communicate directly with someone who's just a few years older than you. And they have a lot to tell you. They have a lot to teach you, which is great. And yeah. Sorry if this is off topic, but how long will this selection process take? I think by beginning of November, you will get an email if you're in or not. On the physics, you will lose marks for rounding to an appropriate. No, you don't lose marks for rounding unless you do it incorrectly. Like, yes. So Anish, hope that answers your question. We don't. If the rounding is done correctly, that's fine. If you have 2.2, which is approximately 7, then probably won't lose a mark. I'm a bit confused when you say explain. Do you mean give reasons for your working? Or just show you working? Just show you working, right? Show you working. It doesn't have to be. Well, you can add elements of explanations to it. Look, bottom line is it has to be clear. Your reasoning has to be clear, right? Just like in any scientific text, it is a logical sequence and an answer. Yes, so it has. As a person marking your work, I have to understand how you got there. Do we need to show working out for solving quadratics? For easy quadratics, no, not necessarily. For quadratics with parameters, yes, please. So with when you have letters inside, for example, a minus 2 x squared, etc. For question 14 in maths, can I just use try and error by plugging different values of possible values of x? 14. You mean k? Well, no. because you won't have to prove that there's only this many. Oh, this is how to submit the work. Okay. I have asked this question before, but I just want to confirm that it could be 4 or 5 units. So no, that does. So rack have no. That's not what it means. For question 14. So you have, this is the origin, and this is the parabola, and this distance has to be 5. Okay, because that would be because that would have been correct with the brackets, but if you take a multiply, it would be, yes, that is true. I showed the force diagram just saying there would be a valid way. So Neil, you can't just state it, you need to explain why. Right? You need to refer to Newton's first law, for example. Newton's first law says that the vertical force is equal to the downwards force if the object is stationary. You can say the object is stationary, therefore the forces are balanced. So you have to, but you can't just say the vertical component is equal to the weight. That's not enough. Do we just have to redo the question that we use that equation on? Yeah, I'm not sure what this refers to. AO. Yes, I don't have the working out for the first question, but I do have photos. It's okay. I just add my name and ID to them. Yes, that's fine. But please submit it as a PDF. Like individual images are a pain to mark. Like honestly, please make it a single PDF, right? Because your person marking your work will have a bad time if you submit pictures. So please, there's an instruction in Google Classroom on how to submit. So please follow that instruction. My school hasn't touched on vectors at all, but you will. I mean, sometimes, yes, sometimes we do stuff before you do it in school. So that is true, but we don't do anything outside the school program as of yet. All the knowledge you need is in the document, though. True. Yes. How many places are there? We have 400 places for 3-year groups. The biggest cohort is year 12. What happens to you if you don't get in? Do you get put into that group you said about before where you just follow along without assignments? Yes. So if you, we have the, if you go to the homepage, join the follow along mailing list here, right? So if you don't get in or you don't want to get in, you can just follow COMPOS here. You will receive links to the webinars, and you will receive our assignments that you can do in your own time. This is free of charge as always, and yeah. There's a cube on the angle, orientation on the vector, it moves the direction. Paris, yes. Q7 is about how you position the motorboat so it goes at 90 degrees. Question 13, you need to get as close to 90 as possible. Where can you find the previous webinars to watch what happened in them? So I've sent a link. So webinars, you go COMPOS Webinars, and then all year 12 webinars. You click here, and here it is. Here they are. Do we get certificates proof that we joined? Well, you get a certificate of completion, or not a certificate, but an email, an official email from Oxford University that you have completed COMPOS. Not a certificate that you've joined. You will just get a welcome email saying that you have joined. Is the COMPOS good for my Oxford application? Of course it is. Not on its own though. It's if you apply for Oxford, do mention COMPOS, but a lot of people, even at Oxford, still don't know who we are. It's the third year we're running. We're a relatively new program, so you need to explain what COMPOS is. We're getting more and more popularity each year, so we're hoping that in a few years everybody will know what COMPOS is. But your knowledge of physics and maths would be your giveaway. You've done COMPOS there, and you know physics, and when you come to your Oxford interview, oh, that this person knows their physics, which is great, and this is why we will accept them. So COMPOS prepares you for any university, not just Oxford or Cambridge or any university you want to go to. So we try to give you as much possibilities as possible. Okay. Do we combine the photos of the assignment in one PDF? So one PDF for maths and yes, one PDF for maths and one PDF for physics. Like if you go to Classroom, if you go to your Google Classroom, and so this is I'm in group year 12 GU3. So you have maths 12, physics 12. There's an instruction on how to upload, so please watch that. And then you view instructions, and then add. I'll create. Right. So you add a file. Well, with a phone you can scan it. Yes, it's better to do with your phone. If you don't do it with your phone, you can create a JPEG to PDF converter. So just Google JPEG to PDF converter. Sounds reasonable. So any, but please PDF. So what do we do in the 5 hours of our own study each week? The assignments that you have 10 assignments to do throughout the year. Every month you will receive a new one. What is the dot product? The dot product is the scalar product. What angle are we trying to find in question 6 on physics? Dot product is the scalar product. Find the angle between the diagonals of the parallelogram. Well, you have these are the sides of the parallelogram, so you need to find the diagonals of the parallelogram, and then you can find the angles. How many year 12s apply to COMPOS this year? That's a good question. Quite a lot this year. We got 1,400 applicants. So it looks like we have about three people per place this year. Last year it was less than 2 people per place. This year it might be up to 3 people per place. So yeah, it's a bit tougher this year. But we will make our best. We want to give a place to everyone who deserves it, and the scanning option isn't available for on iPhones. Okay, just so yeah, we want to give a place to everyone, and we will do everything we can to do that. Okay, we're having emergency meetings, like how can we take more people, because we want to take everyone. Like, honestly, this is what we try to do. We want right. So if your phone doesn't want to do scan, then do cam scanner app. Download it on your phone and it makes a PDF for you. Cam scanner app, yes. So if you download this, supports iOS, Mac OS, etc. What do we do in the file? So .product is the scalar product. How many year 12 applied for COMPOS this year? So yeah, quite a few. But approximately 1,400. If we don't get in this year, is there another chance to get in year 13? Yes, you can apply. If you don't get in this year, you can apply next year. And if you do the assignments on your own throughout the year and you show them to us at the end, you can shortcut your way into year 13. So we can get a place. If you do all the assignments for year 12, you can get a place for year 13 automatically. Cam scanner, how can an equation more than 2 real roots? Okay, I won't comment any further on this. I think I've covered this enough. For question 6 on physics, an equation can have 2 real roots. A quadratic equation, look, a quadratic equation can have 0 roots, 1 root, or 2 roots. So if an equation has more than 2 roots, then it is not a right. So how can an equation can be like this, for example, y is equal to x cubed minus 4x plus 3 . So this equation has 3 roots, for example. Some equations have more than that. Some equations have 10 roots. Oh, yeah. 1 and 2. Question 6, should we give the acute angle in general? It's better to take the acute angle when questions don't specify. Acute is always better, Jessica. But you can always say the angle to the positive x-axis, for example. And if you get this year, would you automatically get in year 13? If you get in this year and complete the assignments, right, then yes, you automatically progress to year 13. Is it safe to assume that the denominator of fraction can never be 0? Of course. Is question 13 a trick question where a equals x? No, it is not. A is not x. A is not a variable. A is a constant. So for P14, I have to put that in. The answer is no. A is a constant. So for P14 of maths, can we use the vertex formula to get an equation in K and equate it to the, yes, you can. You can use the vertex formula. Or what is the most common A-level choices for COMPOS maths, physics, maths, and further maths? We have about 75% doing physics, maths, and further maths, and 100% doing physics and maths. Okay. So yeah, most popular choices is understandably physics, math, further maths. For question 9, physics is the angle 135, the angle on the outside of the triangle. Is the angle 135 angle on the outside of the triangle? Question 9. Okay. So for question 9, like, look, if you're traveling in a given direction, this is your course. This is the way you are traveling. And this is you. This is your direction. It means 135 to your direction. So your house would be 135 degrees to your direction. House, like this. This is what it means. Should we have picked further maths to do COMPOS? Well, you don't have to do further maths to do COMPOS, but I mean, it helps, of course, and you don't, yeah, but there's no requirement. You don't even have to do maths or physics to do COMPOS. It's unlikely though that you would be able to do the assignments because they are harder than A level. Okay, they are harder than A level. They are more or less PAT level questions. Should we have, so for question 9, should we have picked further maths to do COMPOS? So out of interest, what percentage of accepted students receive the final certificate? This year for year 12, it was 75%, 74%. 74% people complete the course. In year 13, it was lower, but we've given them too much work last year. So this year we're giving them less work. So hopefully because when in year 13, after Christmas, they are incredibly busy. And this year we decided to stop after Christmas, after February half term. And so hopefully we have most of them complete the course. If the magnitude vector A can be written as a squared plus ay squared, the magnitude of 2 or 3 terms. That's a very good question. The same. So I'll copy that question, RV. So if you have a column vector A, which is A1, A2, A3, then the modulus of this vector is the square root of A1 squared plus A2 squared plus A3 squared. Oh, actually, you know what? Why would somebody do that? X, Y, Z, X squared, Y squared, Z squared. Okay. So I hope that makes sense. Right. Okay. Did you find this session useful? Please, I don't know, maybe a vote. Just to let me know if you'd like me to do another one maybe closer to Christmas. That very useful. Good. Ooh, nice. Okay. Right. That is good. Another one. Okay. Question 15, maths. How can we give more more than 2 roots? Don't know. Try watching other webinars, perhaps, for the math question. It's a hard question. Look, this question, I took this question from here. This is algebra year 8. So there's nothing extraordinary about this question. There's no knowledge that you don't already possess. It is algebra year 8. It is not a British though book, but anyways, it is doable. Nothing extraordinary. Right. It doesn't have to be in by Friday, but if you want to submit it at 23:55 on a Sunday, and then it turns out that your iPhone does not support Google Classroom, or your Android phone does not scan, you need the time to sort out your technical issues. If you can't sort it out, you email us and say, I've got a horrible problem. But if you email us at 23:59 on a Sunday, I don't think we might be very we might be very kind to answer your prayers, but if please try to do it beforehand, or at least make sure it works, because you can submit extra work. Let's say if you haven't finished question 18 or question 15, you can add it later on to your submission, but just to make sure that everything works, that the scanner scans, etc. So you don't have any unpleasant surprises. Yeah, you can, of course, by all means. Probably have to submit Saturday, since that weekend day all the work done. Potentially, yes. I mean, it would be magnitudes. Oh, the magnitude of 2 vectors. Well, just like this. Magnitude of A plus B. This is the magnitude of vector A plus B. So you have vector A, vector B, and this is vector A plus B. And the magnitude of that vector is that. So it's the length of this vector. It's not the same as modulus of A plus modulus of B. In fact, modulus of A plus modulus of B is always greater or equal than A plus B. This is known as the triangle inequality. Triangle inequality. Okay. Yeah. Tried using the discriminant formula for B, but only got the one valid value of A. Is there definitely more than one? Question 13. Right. Check. Right, so 13. 4. Yes, I am sure. I double checked. Yeah, number 13. I'm sorry. Okay, I'll leave you here. Sorry if is the meaning of modulus is the length of the vector. Modulus is not a line. No, modulus is just a number. Well, you can draw it on a line. What are we doing the same course as last year's webinars later in the year? Yes, we are doing a similar. Yes, we're doing the same course. Which we are. You can look ahead, of course, and it's just going to be different questions. Yeah, don't know what modulus means either. Length of a vector. Okay. Okay. All right. See you then. Welcome. See you.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.